back to where I was. Okay. A fear-based mechanism in the news reporting is harmful to sensitive empaths who exist in the old paradigm of feeling life as it arrives in the now. This is how we were as babies. We lived completely as little Zen Buddhist monks. We were always Zen babies living in the now, and as soon as we became programmed into the way of thinking, which is very left brain, mechanical thinking without allowing the spirit to infiltrate the thinking process, then it became very hazardous to humanity's health. And I think it has to be examined in that way. This is part 2, by the way, of empaths, chaos versus control. The intent of the individual may not have an effect. The intent. Okay, so in other words, when you're living in fear-based world, your world is not really able to. You're not able to function. Fear produces lack of functionality, which is a great tool for the propagandists and the New World Orderists, or whoever is the elite, to maintain power control over the populace, because that way there is no way the populace can uprise and have a revolution and that sort of thing. So, of course, that's being discouraged. Free thinking would be discouraged in that type of right-wing, fascist control. Now, in chaos, could be the left wing creating the revolution. So, the chaos and control theory is basically one based on the political model of society and how it works. Now, it is unhealthy, very unhealthy mindset to have such extremist thinking controlling the populace, controlling people. It is S&M, it is very sadomasochistic, and it puts everyone in that type of place, and you wonder why there is that. I think it's passive-aggressive mindset, where if a person has been harmed, if there has been pain, then the person would definitely see things differently. They would see things in their world as harmful, and therefore a not safe place, so they retreat inward. Their inward journey now to come out into reality, because it has been painful for them. In order to, they've become numb to it. So in order to experience any kind of feeling, sensation, which every human wants to do, is to experience, and that's through feeling, through our senses, our 5 senses and 6th sense as well, and other senses that we're developing. But the thing is, nobody's able to develop that in fear-based programming, in the chaos versus control cycle. And it is a cycle. You can look through history and see that cycle, and it just recurs, and we don't even have any way of even recognizing it. What we're doing here at Narcissism's Deep Psychology is recognizing the patterns in our deep psychology that continue and need to be broken and reassembled in a way that does not allow for that kind of enslavement of the mind through fear programming, fear-based programming. And most people are unconscious of its action in their own life. What we do here at Narcissism's Deep Psychology is make people aware of that type of patterning that needs to be broken and a new paradigm established. And the paradigm that I'm trying to tell you is the healthier version, is the love paradigm. A lot of people don't even know what that word means, and so of course they turn to unfeeling types of programming to continue their belief that power and money is more important than persons. And you know, I was just watching a show yesterday on YouTube. A lady was talking about how pigs go to the slaughter and they've never known anything but pain and suffering. It's not a lot unlike people. And this is sort of, I think, why she was crying, because she saw the empathy, and I was crying too, because the fact that we're so cut off from the feelings, the normal feelings that we used to have before the fear-based programming created everyone to become zombies and feelingless zombies. And that's what a zombie is. A zombie is feelingless, cold calculating, searching for power only, playing at love as a power play, not allowing the feelings at all. And a lot of times, most science discourages feeling and intuitive patterning, because that is feeling. An intuitive person or an empath is a very sensitive, intuitive, feeling person that needs to be properly allowed room to express the feelings. And when that is not allowed in the school system, or when they drug the kids up on ADD drugs like Ritalin, whatever, then that is the problem. So they're putting kids on speed to slow down their mind, which makes no sense at all, really. It just creates more drug addicts for the populace and fear-based programming to control the populace, and that's all that is. Why people don't speak out about it, I don't know. But I think what I'll do with this video, I made an earlier video, but I have to go over that from the beginning, so I'll just continue on, and I'll go back over at the beginning and eliminate the first video that I took. Okay, let's go back into the control versus chaos theory of systematic control. Here we are. Right, there we go. Okay, control is, therefore, it's a need to create this default. Okay, so we need to go back into our default mode and put love in the mix. And I think that starts at the beginning, of course, when before a person is cut off. Now, I think the system, the educational system, at least when I grew up, and usually, probably in the 60s, the early 60s, when I went to school, kindergarten, that sort of thing, it was very programmed, and children were not allowed to express themselves. Any kid who had any feeling at all was put in the the back room, the back school for emotionally disturbed, because they weren't